Okay, be honest. Has fear ever stopped you from moving forward? You feel like God's calling you to do something and maybe like starting a business or stepping into a ministry or going after a dream, but instead of feeling excited, you feel paralyzed. You feel overwhelmed. Maybe you feel terrified of messing up. And maybe you think, maybe I'll just wait until I feel more confident. Or maybe I'm going to do some more research. Oh, don't get me started on that. We can get ourselves into analysis paralysis very easily. And I don't let my clients stay there because it's so easy to have happen that you just waste precious time instead of making an actual decision. Anyway, here's the problem, friend. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes from taking action in faith. And I know that's hard, but we have to step into that. Today, we're going to talk about why fear is keeping you stuck, how to break through it, and what God says about moving forward in faith. Are you ready? All right, let's get started with the top lies fear tells us. Because once we recognize them, we can fight back with the truth. So, lie number one, I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready. I'm not ready. I need more information. Lie number two, what if I fail? What's my family going to think? What are they going to say behind my back? What are my friends going to think? Those things. What if I fail? What's the worst thing that can happen? You tried it, right? Lie number three, I need to have it all figured out before I can take that first step. Big, big lie. And it's going to hold you back forever because the truth of the matter is you're never going to know it all. And if you do know it all, well, that's a whole nother video and that's a whole nother conversation. Lie number four, if it was really God's will, it would be a whole lot easier. Yeah, that's not true either. All right, these lies sound pretty convincing, don't they? But let's flip the script and we're going to stand on God's truth. So 2 Timothy 1:7, because you know I like to bring in some truth, all right? So 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of sound mind." Translation, if fear is making the decisions, it is not from God. That I can promise you. I want to introduce you to Jessica. She is a client of mine, and Jessica was an amazing faith-filled woman who had this dream to start a coaching business. She knew exactly what God was calling her to do and how to help other women, but every time she thought about actually doing it, fear just screamed in her head, what if no one signs up? What if people think I'm not qualified? What if I fail publicly and I embarrass myself? And so what did she do? She waited. Yep. And she waited. And she waited. And guess what? Nothing changed. She stayed stuck. She felt frustrated. She felt discouraged and doubting if she even heard God right in the first place. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? I think we've all experienced that at times. Well, Jessica and I started working together, and I helped her recognize that fear was actually running the show. And fear just makes me so mad because you know who's in charge of that, right? Yeah, it's our enemy. The enemy really wants to keep us in the dark, and he wants us afraid of all the things that he can feed to us, all the things that we can imagine could go wrong. Fear is ugly, honestly. So when Jessica and I started working together, it wasn't that lack of calling. I mean, God definitely called her to this. And it wasn't a lack of clarity or her ability for sure. It was fear of the unknown. So here's what we did to shift her from the fear to the faith. We identified the lies that she was believing, and we replaced them with truth, which means we found scripture that really spoke to those lies. And she started taking just small steps of obedience instead of the, wait till it feels right kind of thing. I just really encouraged her to take those steps, even if they were little baby steps, okay? And she realized that fear was just a feeling. It's not a roadblock. Fear is just a feeling, not a roadblock. And you know what happened? The moment she stepped out in faith, things started shifting. She got a client and her confidence grew. It was so fun. I think one of my favorite parts of what I do is cheering on those that I get to work with. And she stepped into that calling that God had before her. It's really cool. So I want to make this really practical for you. So here's how you can shift from fear to faith, and starting right now, right here, today. I want you to recognize the lie. What is it that fear is telling you? I want you to write it down because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Now, I share this with my clients, um, but I'm going to share this with you right here, right now. Lies like to live in the dark, okay? Sometimes it's the darkness of our mind and our thoughts, that's where it likes to stay. And you want to know why? Because that's where the enemy likes to keep them. He likes to keep the lies in the dark. And as soon as you shine a light on it, so I tell my clients, the enemy is like dark, right? And then when you shine a light on it, God's truth, right? You put a big old flashlight on that thing, you'll see 50 ways till Sunday, all that was wrong and all that you thought were lies that you thought were truth were actual lies. So when we work together, we're going to shine a light on those lies. We're not going to stand for that. We're not going to pretend that those things are okay because they're not. And we're going to look at it for what it really is. All right, I'll get off my soapbox, but I just wanted to let you in on that little secret. Number 2, we're going to replace it with truth. So you're going to write it down, right? You're going to recognize the lie, and I want you to write it down. Then I want you to go find a Bible verse. You'll be amazed at all the Bible verses that speak to things right here in our lives of that are holding us back, honestly. So you find a Bible verse that directly counters the lie or your fear that you've been believing. You take God's truth and you shine that great big old flashlight on that lie, and you do this with every single lie. You apply truth, and I want you to write those things down too. So I like to do an exercise where I draw a line down the middle, I list out the lies, and then on the right, I start writing scripture so that I can stand on that truth. And when the lie starts to bubble up, I know exactly what the truth is. All right. And then number 3, you're going to take one small action. Faith isn't just believing, it's actually moving. If you're afraid to start a business, take one small step. If you're doubting your calling, spend some time with God and ask Him. Ask Him to confirm it. He'll do that for you. I promise. Okay? And if you're stuck in the overthinking, act in obedience before you're ready. I know it feels overwhelming, doesn't it? But you just take one little step. And here's the thing, fear is a bully. So in the moment, you can push back in faith and you'll see that fear loses its power. It's just a bully. And you, with God, have the power over it. So don't let it boss you around. It's okay to feel a little scared. God doesn't really ask you to do big things from your recliner, okay? And I'm sorry, he just doesn't. So if that's new truth to you, well, welcome. I speak the truth. He likes to call you actually to stick your big toe in the Jordan, the story from the Bible. And he likes us to know, or he likes to know that we trust him, that we are going to take action. And he wants to see that even though we're scared, even though we're nervous, that he wants to know that we're serious and we trust him. He just wants to know that you're in it to win it with him. Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." God isn't asking you to have it all figured out. He's only asking you to trust him enough to take the first steps. So if Jessica could do it, you can do it too. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. The question isn't what if I fail? The question is, what if I step out in faith and it actually works? And I become who God created me to be. How cool would that be? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So in the next video, we're going to talk about how to hear God's direction for your life, because clarity is key to moving forward. So I want you to hit the subscribe button. It's free. Turn on all notifications, also free. And I'll see you in the next video.